All right, Krystal, what's on your radar?
Well, I'm going to cover a story this morning that isn't exactly our normal fare here on Rising, and that would be the fight between Cardi B and Candace Owens. Bear with me, though. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. So, for those of you who do not know, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion turned in a provocative performance at the Grammys on Sunday night of the hit song WAP. Now, WAP had already sent the conservative world into full pearl clutch and smelling salts mode with graphic, sexually explicit lyrics. Famously, Ben Shapiro read some of those lyrics out loud for those who are not familiar with the song. Let's hear a bit of Ben's recitation.
Here are some of the lyrics. You ready? Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P-word. P-word is female genitalia.
So, Cardi and Megan's performance was excuse enough for conservatives to crank back up the moral panic, and Candace Owens led the charge. I'll spare you all the details of their Twitter spat. I did particularly enjoy this retort from Cardi B in response to Candace saying that her performance signified the end of an empire. She tweeted, "Wow, imagine if WAP caused the downfall of the American empire and not North Korea bomb threats, terrorism, racism, or bad government. That would be so iconic." This all culminated, as things do, with the big Fox News and specifically Tucker Carlson segment. Here's a little bit of how that went.
You see that fundamentally we are seeing the destruction of American values, American principles. And it's terrifying. I think parents should be terrified that this is the direction that our society is heading towards. And again, we are weakening America. That's really what we should be talking about. This is a weakening of American society. We are setting the stage, and it feels like we are looking at corrosion, like we are about to see the end of an empire. America cannot survive. It cannot be sustained under these sorts of values and principles.
America cannot survive. Now, I could tell you all about the hypocrisy of people who defended Trump, hardly known for his Puritan values, having a full-on moral panic about Cardi B. I could tell you about the silliness of working yourself into a lather over this performance when we've got several overlapping, very serious crises on our hands. I could tell you about the irony of a network with such a documented reputation for being a cesspool of immorality, casting judgment on any of this. But I don't really want to debate the performance itself because that might require Sagar to weigh in, and frankly, I'm a little afraid of what his take might be. What I really want to highlight here is what it means that Fox News is wasting their time on this particular moral panic. After all, this segment and its structure, it's a classic Fox format. It's almost soothing. It's comforting to watch it all unfold. So familiar is the script. Ex-female did something overtly sexual, and we must all be appalled. Let's play said appalling behavior multiple times on a loop so that we can fully take in the degeneracy and debasement. Maybe let's just play it one more time for good measure. I swear we aren't enjoying this. It's just for the sake of journalism, and it's definitely not about ginning up ratings for the Viagra set that are overwhelmingly watching right now. We just must play the clip on a loop because we are patriots, and these are the sort of difficult things that patriots must do. Don't you see what this means, people? Nature is healing. With Trump out of the White House and off of Twitter and the coronavirus possibly on the wane, Fox News is having its own little return to normal journey. And for Fox News, freakouts over sexy dancing are the equivalent of liberals going back to brunch. Bill O'Reilly, I gotta say, was the true pioneer of this genre. Yes, the great moralist who was forced to settle a variety of sexual harassment claims against 6 different women for a reported $45 million, loved nothing more than to inveigh against the horrors of the rap music and was particularly concerned about the sexuality of Beyonce. Of course, he could only show the dangers of Beyonce by repeatedly playing her horrible sexiness over and over again for his audience.
Explain this. Beyonce. I saw her sing a Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl in Houston. Brilliant. All right. Worth about $350 million. She puts out a new album with a video that glorifies having sex in the back of a limousine. Teenage girls look up to Beyonce, particularly girls of color. She's an idol to them. I'm saying, why on earth would this woman do that? An entertainer like Beyonce and a mogul like you have an obligation to protect children, not put out exploitive garbage that you know harms impressionable children. I think Beyonce, what she has done here is inexplicable, and I'm asking you, Russell Simmons, to explain it to me.
Okay.
But maybe my favorite example of this genre comes from Sean Hannity, whose show made an annual pilgrimage to Panama City in order to display for the nation all the debauchery corrupting our youth, because nothing eradicates debauchery like lustily gazing upon it over and over again, night after night, year after year, for their annual 4-part series. Seriously. So, folks, this is the proper context for evaluating the everything old is new again nature of the Cardi B moral panic. Is it good or bad? Hard to say. Cable news ratings have fallen off a cliff across the board. That is undoubtedly a good thing. Fox took a big hit right after Trump lost. CNN and MSNBC have followed suit in recent weeks, as we've covered here. Those two networks have been living off the fumes of the January 6th riots, Marjorie Taylor Greene, QAnon. Now on Fox, Dr. Seuss, Potato Head, and Cardi B, that's like Fox's version of trying the same thing. What can we freak people out about? What's a cultural flashpoint that will keep them scared, enraged, or titillated? I guess the biggest promise Biden made in his campaign was to bring back that 2014 pre-Trump feeling, and judging by the grasping cable news content, he is certainly delivering on that promise. Sagar, nature is healing.
It's healing.
I do want to say,
love it.
In fairness, the spring break 4-part series, I don't think that ever went away, even during the Trump era. He continued every single year.
See, I don't watch Fox, so I don't know.
4-part series every single year at some spring break destination to be like, look at these women, look at this is horrible, play it again, let's watch it some more. We're going to be back tomorrow night with more of the same content. It's amazing.
That's incredible. Yeah, this is really an Iran-Iraq war situation for me. I'm like, I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you destroy each other. Keep fighting. It's good. Actually, genuinely think it's good for the country. I think it is one of these things. This is why people are tuning this shit out. They're like, forget this. I'm out.
You're like, I don't need,
I'm going to get this vaccine. I'm going to go out and hang. And, hopefully Sean Hannity's producers don't happen to catch me at a bar at, what is it, Senor Frogs or something like that. Everyone go to Senor Frogs. Have a good time. All right? And now, look, I think it is deeply indicative of, it's like I was saying in the earlier segment, we're going back to the 1990s. I truly feel it. Like, in terms of our politics, we haven't seen a figure like Biden, and he's very Clintonian almost in a lot of ways, and like who he is. The economy, look, like we said, yes, there are many structural, but there's still 200 million people who's got $1,400 in the bank. Mm-hmm. Average family of four's got $7,600 in terms of their child benefit. People are going to be roaring. People are going to go into concerts. I mean, people are going to be traveling. Vegas is going to be crazier than ever. I mean, it's just one of these things where the .com bubble, like, look, go check out the stock market, the Dow Jones, the amount of venture capital money that's flowing over. I don't think we've seen anything like this for a long time, and this is the only thing they can do. I mean, Fox was born in that environment.
Yes.
So, if anything, they are returning to their... I mean, what is going to be the Lewinsky
return to normal
scandal? Yeah, and actually, unlike Biden... unlike Bill, Biden seems to really love his wife, so you can't even really, work around on that one.
That's true. Yeah. That's a really good point. I mean, look, I think the thing here is also... Trump has been a lot more quiet than I think anyone really expected. Right. Him not having a Twitter account has actually really been a problem for him in terms of maintaining relevance, because the dude is totally lazy. So any of the things that you would do, I mean, there was talk of, he's going to form this media venture. He's like, it's too much work. Talk of a third party, way too much work. So, he's just hanging out, makes an occasional appearance. I do think he's going on like a book tour, so we'll probably see a little bit more of him there. Like, he's going to reinsert himself in certain places. That'll give them fodder for a news cycle. But by and large, it's pretty slim pickings at all of the networks.
They really have no idea how to grapple with this. And it's kind of hilarious. Like I said, it's hilarious to see them just scrambling. Everybody's trying. Candace is launching a show. She needs content. I mean, here's the truth. What if the Trump era was the greatest thing that ever happened to them? And that's what it is, which is that now they are just grasping for relevance. Do I think something will come along and keep them afloat? Yeah,
absolutely,
I do.
Sure.
But at the same level, I don't think so.
All right, Gabby Orr, Chuck Rocha, great panel is up next for you, and Rising continues.